experience.
I've
I've never.
really,
But I know more innately. I have more feeling for jazz than you guys ever have.
Hey, Bub, I always wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
like, how can you be so dumb while you laugh and get so brilliant overnight? I always wondered about that. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, there was an awful lot went on in our backyard. It's 403 South Pennsylvania Avenue. It's now 503 South Pennsylvania Avenue.
Uncle Bub, get in.
But you know, Bill Geist next door. You know, do you guys remember stories of Geiste? Because let me tell you why. Velma Williamson, who's a very nice person, who lived a couple houses down from us. You remember Velma?
I remember Val.
Remember Val, of course, Tom. And you remember Val?
Yeah, she was my first girlfriend. Are you kidding?
She's my first babysitter.
And anyhow, Val is living out where? Do you have her phone number, Pops?
Yeah.
I need to get her phone number so I can call her.
Yeah.
Because Russell
Oh,
Geist.
she'd love to hear from you.
Well, anyhow, the Geist who lived next door to us, they had 3 children. Janet, who was a good looker, who married for money, basically, several times. Then finally, the 3rd time, she married for love. And then there was.
How'd you hear that, Pops?
Well, I just know it.
We
I
knew
know,
the
I
people,
know.
but
We knew the
that's
situation.
kind of a harsh thing to say.
Well, God damn it, I know what I'm talking about.
She married Williams.
Well, now wait a second. First it was Senator Hepsch from
Senator
Chicago,
Hepsch. Yeah.
who was very wealthy.
Right.
Then it was Roger Williams, or whatever his name was, who had the Williams oil-o-matic, aromatic, isomatic, who was a very good buddy of Walter Chrysler,
Yeah.
and they all hobnobbed in the same circles.
Yeah.
Now, if that's not money, what the hell is?
Maybe she was in love too.
Yeah, I mean,
Sweetie, I only wish my father were here to answer that comment. But anyhow,
that's
Well,
not
he didn't
fair.
like the Geist anyway.
no,
He
didn't
did
have-
later on. He
No,
loved
he didn't
him.
have any against that guy.
He always liked
That-
Bill.
that's really not true. But well, no, that's not true. But
It boils down to this.
He
Dad
did
and
Mrs.
Mrs.
Geist.
Well,
Geist
Mrs.
had a feud about bush snipping in the early 30s. And then,
That's
really,
right. And he hated her, and he used to hate her whistling also.
it was,
well, she
It
was
was-
a busybody and a gossip, no question about that. But anyhow, Mr. Geist was a nice guy, and Russell.
He drove a Hudson Terraplane.
That's right. Russell was a son. I don't know if he was the oldest or the second child.
oldest.
He was the oldest one. And Russell became a newspaper editor up in some town up in Illinois. I know this for sure.
And his son is on TV now, right?
Louis
Now, wait a
Times
second.
Gazette or
His
whatever.
son, his son was a little red-headed boy. He used to come around, and
That was Charlie.
Bill.
Charles Hepsch, I think, Lee. It was,
Oh, okay. Billy.
Arthur and Charles. I thought you were talking about Billy Geist, Russell's son.
Bill,
Go ahead.
Billy Geist was not Russell's son.
The father, Russell, not the
Bill's
son.
nephew.
The father was
Bill's
Russell.
nephew, Bill. Not our Bill. Bill's nephew, Bill. Russell's son, Bill. The same person who's
Okay, was he? That was.
an
That was
NBC commentator now.
okay, all right. And his name is Bill Geist. What city is he working out of? Do you know?
He goes all over the country, but he's out. You can see him every Sunday morning on the
He used to come around, that
Sunday
little
morning
red-haired
show.
boy?
Well, he used to come around, yeah. And Billy Geist, and he was
Enthralled
He
with
was-
your drumming.
what?
No, Tom, together.
What?
They'd like you to move over closer to Jim, please, so you fit in the picture.
Well, why don't we straighten the Christmas tree so it's perfectly plumb straight? Little off to one side. No, push this way. No, that's too much. Put it back, okay? All right, are we all set? We had a friend of ours that used to have fights about whether or not the damn Christmas tree was straight enough, you know?
Jim, it's got to be right.
No, he
Got
used
to
to
be
go over
perfect.
to his
But all-
aunt and uncles, and they were the ones who fussed about whether it was perfectly right or not. And then he'd come over here where we'd throw the things on by the handful. He thought it was great.
Geisty was really a character. He was a
Guy,
good
listen,
guy.
Geisty,
Smart.
Pops, don't you remember some stories about Geisty?
Yeah.
You know something? Long before Jonathan Winters, Geisty had more damn sound effects that he would go. When he talk about
Galloping horses
the
or
galloping horses,
guns.
or whether it was guns. You know, he had all these things down.
The greatest thing
And-
about Geisty was that his side always won because he'd make up the scene. And if the cops would win one time, you ought to be a cop next time. He'd be a crook, and the crooks would win, or the cowboys would beat the Indians, whatever. Because he was quick, and he would make the scene, and he'd quickly change something.
He was a rapid talking
Oh,
manipulator, and he had a way of saying he was great. you
He
know.
would narrate while we were doing the thing, and whatever he would say, we would do, you know, and then his side would win.
He had a hell of an imagination too.
Really did.
Wonderful imagination.
Hey, listen, I got a question to ask you guys. What does this tell you about our neighborhood? We had Otto Brocious, who was at Knaple Camp? Homer
Homer
Camp.
Naval Camp.
We had Mediel Gartizer,
Mhm.
Don and Lily Schmidt,
Yeah.
and we had
Well, we had
Falstaff
Heisler.
was
We had Heusler. We had Boykels.
Boykels, the
And we had
Boykels.
Brills that lived
and
next
the
to him.
and the
Mr. Schwartz and the turtle
Schwartz.
soup. Bill Schwartz was
Bill-
the same
well,
as Brown.
I mean, there's a bunch of Germans around there.
Yeah, there were.
Mhm.
You're right.
Gross
Wayne
pitch.
Slusher.
Gross pitch.
Mrs.
Wayne
Gross.
Schlusher, the
Gross
Gross
pitch
pitch,
Fader.
yes, Gross pitch.
And Doc Fader, who was a
Doc
dentist.
Fader,
you know.
yeah.
So did your
Fred
family
Whitler.
have some sort of German traditions that you
Well,
followed
Fader.
because of
Certainly,
that?
we had a lot of German influence from our family.
And the,
Our
Gula-
grandmothers were
our-
German
our
and the
grandma-
grandfathers were English.
That's right.
Both?
All the grandmothers were German and all the grandfathers were English. It's funny.
No,
Almost
Fred
most
Shale
of
Shale.
them.
was
Shale.
very German.
Shale was a very. That's right.
that's where Lincoln stayed.
Yeah, the bed that
Shale,
That's
Lincoln
right. From the
slept
Shale
in.
house.
That's from the Lincoln Room.
That's where the Lincoln bed comes. That's where
know
the
about
Lincoln
that.
bed comes from. That's right.
And
And
the night at Christmas, I told Aunt Peg she talked too much, and Aunt Maria took me aside and she says, "That's so terrible. Oh, Bob, for you." She
well,
grabbed-
you know, listen. I
grabbed
want
my
to tell you
jaw.
though. Aunt Peg used to be half in the bag. You know.
Was she?
Yeah.
Was she?
Yeah, and I remember one time over there, we went over there, and she
I
was
always wondered.
she was saying to Lee, to Daddy, she said, Lee, here's the grapefruit, and here was a great big pail of freshly scooped out grapefruit, and she dropped it down the goddamn stairs, and in her house, and there was grapefruit clear gone down throughout the whole goddamn stairs. Do you remember where she lived?
It was upstairs somewhere. I don't remember where
She lived upstairs on
Yellow
the.
brick house.
You had to go over the other
And-
side of town.
Well, it was
North
on.
Douglas, wasn't
It was no. Well, it wasn't North
off
Douglas.
of
It
North
was,
Douglas.
it was off of North Douglas someplace, but I don't remember how that happened. Then she
It
moved,
was
you
near
see.
Kircher Place, wasn't it? Kircher Place?
It was very close to Kirker Place, that's right. And I
Not too
can't-
close.
Probably about a block or two away. Pops, you always
It
wanna
was over
screw
this
up.
way. Kirker Place is here, and she was over here.
You know, last week I saw Georgia Grossart.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And how is she?
Fine. Her husband, Art Wolf, has Parkinson's. They're getting along fine. And anyway, Georgia had sent me one of these little pamphlets of the East End Homecoming. And one of the comic strips was the Harrison Kids, where I sent Boo Boo, it said, to the store to get some candy. And somebody asked me, Tommy, why have you put a baseball mask on Boo Boo's head? And I said something like, well, because I sent him to the store to get candy.
There we used to go down, what was the name of that store? There were two stores.
Leaders and Browns.
Leaders and Browns.
Leaders and Browns, right. Leaders, we used to go down to Leaders
Anyway, we
and
used to
Browns
have,
and
Times for the hot dogs, you could feed the neighborhood.
I mean, you know, and we get baseball cards, so, you know. I still got some of those baseball cards.
Gouty
downstairs.
gum cards?
Oh, you.
Gouty gum cards. From,
Oh, they're probably worth something.
Tell about the one that was missing, the number.
Oh, well, and you know, Jack Wallen and I had all 240 of the baseball card except one, number 106. Right, so I went to one of these baseball card places, you know. I said, "Who the hell's number 106?" And the guy showed me. Number 106 was a fella who.
Nappy or stuff.
Do I want to say Nappy Lamar? That's not right. Nap. Who was it?
Nap something. Go on.
So anyhow, what had happened, the Gouty Gum Company decided not to release that after they had put out about 60 or 70 of them. So those things were automatically worth about $6,000 because of their scarcity. And I often thought to myself, Jack Longman and I should have written the company and told them we had all our things except one. Why in the hell could they please send us that last one? And then I don't know what happened to Jack's collection, but the collection I had was partially lost or something in the shuffle.
Jack got killed in the war.
Jack got killed in he was a B-17 operator, and he was killed by flak over Swinehorst or someplace, I don't know where. Jack was a good guy. Huh?
I made you a,
Oh yes,
Dumb
Jan,
thing
Jan
to
made
do.
me this card. We ought to have a copy of that card, but it was number 106, and it had a picture of me. What happened? They had a picture of me. Matt, she engineered getting some pictures of me playing drums down there. You ever see that card?
No.
it was
There's
from a
there's
catalog, and
there's
it said
there's
you
co-
could have a card made up with
Mhm.
anything you wanted, so
Mhm.
we did it. It was
I
fun.
have a copy upstairs on my window, my
Yeah.
mirror. And but anyhow, that smoke got Tom smoking again. Dude, it's pretty going to stunt your growth, pops. But anyhow, that was really a wonderful Christmas present.
And it said hobbies, you know, it said jazz thing, and said
Yeah.
hobbies, gardening and cardiovascular surgery.
We can smell that in here, Tom.
Yeah. Hey, what?
We smell that in here. Stop
Oh,
it.
really?
Go away. Go across the street.
Okay.
What was Eckert like?
Eckert's Eckert's store?
Ice cream?
Peaches.
Was it ice cream?
No, Eckert's specialized in fruit
Peaches.
and peaches and
Peaches
corn,
and apples.
Peaches as big as
apples,
cantaloupes.
fresh
Delicious.
pork sausage. They had great fresh pork sausage.
Yeah.
And when I used to go visit Aunt Orena and Aunt Ruth, I'd be going out to the American College of Surgeons, I'd swing by Belleville. I would invariably have lunch with Rena and Ruth, and they would save for me either frozen or whatever. They'd always have fresh pork sausage and creamed
White.
asparagus, white asparagus.
Tell how Aunt Arena made it.
Well, she used to, first of all, she used to peel the asparagus. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
She'd peel the asparagus, and then she'd cook it in this cream sauce, and it was just great.
Mm.
I don't know
Oh,
how-
very tender. So tender.
Wonderful.
It was really
Delicious.
delicious.
Here
Because
comes the Kisbergs.
Tom said he went to Eckert's for frozen yogurt the other day.
Oh, really?
Well, there was a frozen
Well, that's
yogurt
that's a
place
new
in back
addition.
that wasn't there then.
That's a new
Sorry,
addition.
Because I thought that was sort of like.
Turn it over, sweetie.
Was that like the green
That's
tea
fine.
kettle or
Right.
green tea
Oh, the
kettle?
green teapot, that's gone too.
Yeah, the green teapot used to be a favorite lunch place.
And Meat Arts hamburgers.
Meat Arts hamburgers
With their
with
sauce.
Now, Bub, did you ever tell the story about letting the chickens go when you opened the chicken coop and you said run for your lives? And I don't think we got them all back because,
It was only one.
no, it was
My
three.
favorite one. They were going to butcher it, and I let them go.
And we
But
were
they caught-
told,
And they never told me that they caught it again, but they caught that damn bird, and we ate them about a day later. I remember that. They said, "Oh no, we got this at the store."
well, we had company and we were told not to ask for seconds. Don't you remember we had towels around our faces and we were in the garage?
Oh, for dancers only.
Yes, it was all home week for me.
A little bit
I
old.
lived there for about
Corporal
22
Buddy
years.
Clark.
Now, well, you
let's
and
have them up there.
that's the one.
Yes, all Americans used to go there.
Yeah.
It is good there.
Well, you know.
Now, their other business are Mountain Street
I looked
or Crescent Street. I
found
found
it in
them.
David Boyle.
But this, I mean,
They have such a
you have to understand when
Like I saw
was
the
born,
at the zoo.
Just you, just me.
I didn't know about Cafe Martin. I was hungry, and I said, let's just go anywhere. And that's,
You live on the best.
and it happened to be there. We walked in, I said, oh God, it's really good.
But, you know, there's quite a lot very good.
Oh, man.
I've got a bunch of them up there.
There's very good Chinese
haven't got as many
restaurants.
as I'd like,
It's
but-
really good.
You know, they're nice. They're good.
But the French restaurants are very good. But Chevallier is a very good one.
Slim Gaylord. He's a funny guy. Funny cat.
A lot of Williamsporters used to come up to Montreal.
Local
And
Leo
the
Watson.
London.
How can that be?
Mainly,
Oh,
mainly,
sorry, local
mainly
Slim
for
Gaylord.
food. And then a little business
Chicken
on the
O'Rooney.
side.
Hey,
For
Tom?
God's sakes. But your daughter was in McGill. What did she?
Hey, I gotta tell Tom that
She
we've
was
got,
there.
we've got some Slim Gaylord. He'll flip, you know. Because Tom always used to have his Balderoonies, you know.
Staying film and
What is Tom?
tacos or whatever.
fine arts.
Yeah.
When was that?
This was a couple of years ago.
Did she like living there? Did she like living in Montreal?
Yeah.
It's a very pleasant place to live, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's great for
Did I do that? I'm sorry. Something.
Just like,
That was
Great.
absolutely delicious.
Yeah, well, no, it's great for children as well as more.
We did. We got a lot.
We got a lot of wind and, yeah, and a very short summer.
Yeah. It's very sparsely populated too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It was.
Donahue, we used to have a nice day.
I'd like to have gone to some of the maritime provinces. I never got there. Went west, but we never went east. Prince Edward Island is supposed to be lovely, for instance. And UK, I'm not so sure, but I have friends in Nova Scotia.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, they love it. They're growing, would you believe, asparagus and garlic.
Oh, yeah,
How about Sylvia? Sylvia, would you like tea? There'll be coffee in a minute. There's tea now.
I'd rather have coffee.
Okay,
Thank you.
John, tea or coffee?
I'll wait for coffee, I think.
Okay. Tom, tea or coffee?
Is it decaf?
You know, I used regular coffee. Sorry. I usually.
That's all right. Well, no, I think I'll just pass it. I'll pass.
Okay. Anybody want? Anybody else want?
Jan, you're not making coffee specially, are you?
I made it. I made it, but I wasn't thinking, and I made regular.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't care if the moldy pig. Got any guess handy?
Yeah, okay, fine.
Have you heard any of the guests that we did just in the last couple of years before he died with Kenny Barron? They did 3 or 4 just piano tenor.
I know, and also
He's just such a...
It'll break your heart. He knew he was dying and he played just...
so exquisite. I have, where in the hell is that song I've gone? I have a wonderful thing with Getz playing, Little Woogie for me. Oh, it is absolutely gorgeous. Just gorgeous. It makes you cry, you know? I don't know what the damn thing is.
That's a familiar problem, Jim, I know. I understand what you're saying.
Hey, Bob, you better be careful. That might pick up your voice.
John Denman.
Oh, yeah.
John and Buddy Among Speak softly. Devil people see, warm star eyes. On the other side, you've got Pick Yourself Up. That's a nice tune.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's with the Frank.
Are any grocery stores open right
Pick
now?
yourself up, let yourself go.
Sure, I don't know how this is going to turn out. See, rewind this. I'll go ahead and start from scratch. How do I do this?
Hey, Helen,
Put this back on.
would you move that light towards you? Thank you. That's good, that's good, that's good.
Phone though. Already got it on the phone though.
Take off the,
Are we on the
that's
phone?
it.
No, we're on CD. No, I don't want to.
Little background music, Pops. How's that red light?
You gotta put power on.
start over again.
This one that has come recent. Oh. It's about 45 or 44. Oh, before that. So the French statues are right. You're right, he's not so much. I can see him doing it. It's a dance routine set for fun.
Ah, yes, another evening at Pop's house.
Is this Frank or the other guy?
Gotta be the other guy.
Give me a smile, Jack.
Yeah, I heard him last Labor Day.
Well, I should really count on it. A student playing with some local help, and sometimes I can really lost it.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Band didn't swing, I can make anybody.
You're right, Pops.
It wasn't very
Band doesn't swing. You can make anybody This is the other guy, I think. You think this is the other guy? What? John Denman. It's sort of tough to tell which one's which. This sounds like Frank.
It sure does sound like he used to play. He played that one.
How the hell can you tell which one it is?
What's the name of it? Is that a disc or no?
That's a set. Why?
I get my hand on that. Yeah.
Why don't I give it to you and you send it back to me after you copy?
Okay, fine.
I'm not keeping score, Pops.
No, I'll get it back. I never get mine back when I let them out. I got some crazy everything else here.
Don't blow them out.
I'm not anymore.
Rolling.
About 12 or 15 years ago, I was visiting Dad, and Jim popped in, and everything was great. We were cooking and smoking and having fun and whatever, and Jim had some studying to do. So he got out these heavy, really heavy heart medical books, and he's sitting on the couch reading and studying, and Dad is watching TV, smoking a huge cigar. And I'm over in the corner chair smoking furiously on cigarettes, and all the smoke's going up to the ceiling. And you can see it building up. And Jim's sitting there, and he's starting to sweat a little, and he's starting to get nervous, but he didn't say a word. And then suddenly, the smoke was down, like, a couple of feet from the ceiling, like fog. It was all of that. And suddenly, it was strange weather, there was an air inversion. and this whole layer of smoke came down over Jim's head, and he said, "Oh shit!" And he got up and left the room, and disappeared for about 20 minutes. It went out, you know. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
You do?
vaguely.
Dense smoke. Well, I'm sorry that happened. Nothing else.
That's okay.
You still got through medical school. That's the good part. Read those books.
I know a Jim story.
Tell him. I thought you told it.
So get over on the couch. Let somebody.
Okay, Tom, you'll have to move then. I gotta go over there.
Oh.
Or somebody run the camera.
Rebecca, you can run it. Okay.
Well, I have two Jim stories. The one Jim story is, when I visited Dad one time in Florida, I would go out and I'd jog. And I'd do this while he was sleeping in the morning. He didn't get up till about noon. And one day he commented, he says, you know, when Jim works out, he puts on a sweatsuit, opens up a beer, and sits on the couch and has a beer. That's his idea of a workout. And another story that I remember, when Jim went off to medical school, I was still in high school, I think, and I hadn't seen him for a very long time. He came back from med school, and I hadn't seen him for, I guess, almost a year, it seemed. And he walked in the door and he said, "Pops, do you have any warts or moles in places of chronic irritation?" I said, well, hi, Bob. He
Not
says,
really.
"Listen, you want to watch those." I said, "Well, how you been, Pops?" He says, "You know, you can get cancer if you're not careful," or something like that. Gosh, warts or moles in places of chronic irritation.
I thought you guys could come up with some stories about Bill Geist. You know, and just reiterate.
Geiste used to tell a story about when he was in the service. He came home once and he told a story about the airplane pilot that got mad, went behind a cloud and wrote "Oh hell." Remember that? Sort of. And Geiste,
He wrote, "Oh hell, what are you talking about?"
when you and Tom went off to, I don't know, it's about an airplane pilot or something that would write, a skywriter pilot. He got mad at somebody and went behind a cloud and wrote "Oh hell." I don't know, it was
It
funny.
wasn't hell. It was another four-letter. But
Geiste would tell it something like that and make it very funny.
Yeah.
We did movies, you know, when you and Tom went off to camp. I suppose Tom kept a letter that I wrote to him about. Geiste came over and we had these 8mm movies, and Geiste said, "Well, let's open a movie house in the basement." So we put up a sheet, and
His basement.
No, our basement.
Our basement,
Yeah.
of course.
His
But he
basement's cleaner.
kept the nickels.
he had a nice
Nickel.
basement, whitewashed every week.
Yeah, a nickel. It took a nickel to get in there.
Nolan
know,
Smith
guys,
always
did
had
you
the
ever
food
sell out
concession,
crowd?
didn't he?
No, we had the food concessions. Right?
You know, really, the thing about Geiste that killed me, he could imitate things. He had all these sound effects. There was really,
The gate or the storm or the
storm. He
galloping
he would
hooves.
imitate
He was great at galloping hooves.
galloping horses and engines and motorboats and stuff like that. You know, and he'd do all these damn things, and it was really. in
Yeah, he'd just
retrospect-
stop his line of patter for a couple seconds and make the sound, then go back to his scene.
And he had ways of expressing himself with just sounds
He
coming
would have
out.
been a fine scriptwriter in later years.
He would have been a lovely script
Is
writer.
that guy
Wouldn't he?
Bill Geist who's on?
That's his
CBS?
nephew. That's Russell's son.
That's why I want to contact that guy and tell him.
You got to watch him tomorrow. He's on it.
I'm not going to do that. I don't want to watch the goddamn television on Sunday morning.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
read the New York Times sports page. But anyhow,
Good for you.
listen.
He is good. He's clever.
Do you have any films that show Geiste?
I'm going to go through the films that are at Helen's if I get a
Go
chance.
through them. How can you monitor
We
them?
never had any films of Geiste.
Helen, I brought the whole box of them to you.
Geiste was in on a lot of films. He was
All
in
of
on a
them.
lot of films.
Oh, you have every film that we ever had.
It's all on you, Helen.
Helen, have you destroyed those films?
Did you throw them away?
No, of course not. Do I ever throw anything away? Not really.
Helen's a pack rat, just like the rest of us.
No.
Yeah.
I'm working on it very hard, though.
And I'm going to also send, if I find
Bag
it,
a day.
there's a film when we were little kids in the backyard, and the bushes were about this high. And, I mean, you know, a
Yeah.
foot high. And like when Dick came back 20 years later, he says, I thought this backyard was a lot bigger than this. All the bushes were huge. I said, it used to be, you know. But it's a picture of, you know, Nolan Smith and you and Ossie Joffrey and myself. And I don't know if Bob McKelvey's over there. He used to come over and coach once in a while when we were lucky.
I got a Tom.
But Dick ran through the whole neighborhood. Made
Did
a
he?
touchdown, yeah.
Yeah, Dick was very good. I have a Tom story. One time, you know, this was something Pops said. I wasn't particularly proud of it, but Earl Bohannon was beating me up one time. And you came over and started to help.
Well, that's what we were taught to do. I didn't mind that.
I know, but I mean, then you end up getting...
We both got stomped.
Yeah, but I mean, he stomped you, and I wasn't much help.
Well, I wasn't a help. I just was a diversion. I wasn't very good at it. Between the two of us, he quit.
He was a jerk, you know.
Yeah, he was evil.
You know, he was a jerk.
Was that knee-high bottling?
That was Wally Fisher, who was a nice guy.
Earl Bohannon was a manual training teacher down at high school. His daddy. And he didn't know what to do with Earl. Earl always smoked and
Earl
did
was
everything
a
wrong.
screw up.
And he finally sent him to the military, Missouri Military Academy at Mexico, Missouri.
That's right.
Did it help?
As an incorrigible, and he kind of got better, yeah.
Well, I think Earl, I saw him.
He wasn't too bad a guy. He was just a
Yeah.
bully.
Yeah.
He was all right.
He
Yeah,
wasn't big
do
enough
that.
to be really a good bully.
Listen, the story I wasn't going to tell because I didn't want Rebecca to hear it. So I'm going to leave part of it out.
No.
Get over here so we can hear it on camera.
Yeah,
Tom.
get on camera. I want to tell the whole thing.
Well, it's one of those... Well, can you edit that tape if you don't? If
Sure.
I shouldn't have told it?
Sure.
All right. Ouch! Get out of the way, Bob. Ow. I used to have a tremendous memory. It's kind of moth-eaten now. It's not too good. But I used to remember almost every moment of my life at one time. Coming home from the hospital and everything. But anyway, I was about 2, maybe 3 years old. And Jim and Dick McKelvey and Leon Ryan were around the 5 years old era. And at the little house on Douglas, across from Schlosser's, I tagged along. We all went out in the woodshed back there in the play fence. And the big guys took their clothes off. And I couldn't even dress myself then. and they told me,
Pin the pins.
I started and they said, no, you can't do this. You're a little kid. You're too little. And I didn't. But the thing is, I was bewildered a little bit. They all took their clothes off, but I wasn't allowed to. They wouldn't let me. And then Dick McKelvey said, you ought to try this. And he got a little stick and put it in the orifice of his penis. And the other guys did. He said, isn't that great? And the next day, I was all by myself. And I went out in the woodshed and took my clothes off and got a little stick, and it was very unpleasant. And I thought, why in the heck did these guys do that? That's no fun. And then I couldn't get my clothes back on. I was that tiny. And so I thought, oh my God, they were so secret about this whole thing. There might be something wrong here. So instead of going in the back door, I guess I wasn't as bright as I should have been. I tried to climb in the window with my clothes so I could act like So I was in bed without any clothes instead of just walking in. I felt something was wrong. And Mom was standing there right in the window. I was so surprised. She said, "Oh, come in. You got your clothes off. You just put them back on." And so it didn't bum me out or anything.
The book said you don't make a big deal over it. Kids taking their clothes off.
I never did it again. At least I never put a stick in there.
Oh, Tom.
I know.
Oh, Tom.
I'm sure there have been stranger things than that have happened. Jesus.
What?
Well, I don't know, but
Remember when you guys were playing you had a band in the living room?
Sure.
And Smitty and John Balder and I and Freddie Blum, Freddie Blum was a general in the Air Force. Did you know that? Freddie Blum?
Freddie Bloom.
Anime's little brother.
Animate's little brother.
Anime Bloom. Now who's she?
She was the
They
flip
lived down
side
the
of the
street.
band.
You remember when we had the parade, the East End party parade?
Oh wait, that was Irene Badar.
And-
I don't
and
know
we-
what anime did.
And there's the Geisingers, or not Geisingers.
Geislers.
Geislers.
And the
And there was-
Schnellenbergers.
There were Geislers and the Blooms. There was a vacant lot halfway down the block. You know, Mrs. Eggersman's block.
Yeah.
And,
She
and
was a strange person.
She was nice. I
She was?
really got to know her later
Did
on.
you really?
Terribly nice.
She was
person.
very nice. She was a church
Strange
person.
but nice.
Very kind and trusting person. Geiste told us that she was mean, is why we all grew up thinking that.
Yeah.
Well, she wore these long skirts and these high button shoes, and she would
looked
walk
like a
to the
witch.
cemetery
Yeah.
all the time, and she just sort of floated along.
But she never locked the door or anything. She trusted. She put a Bible in her doorway. But Geiste told us she would don't ever get caught in her yard or she'll whatever.
What happened to Geiste?
Geiste was killed in a plane crash in World War II. He was on he won a special trip to Scotland on a leave, you know.
Oh,
and-
really? It was on leave?
It was on
And-
leave, on
Day
special
off.
leave that he won.
Oh.
The plane plowed into a mountaintop.
Right into a mountain.
The Isle of Man.
The what?
On the Isle of Man. They crashed on the Isle of
Oh, was
Man.
that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, perhaps.
How do you like the way Bub plays the nose?
Did you hear any of the Carl Fontana and Bill Watrous K and J style duets?
I know of those people, but I can't specifically remember anything, you know, about them. That special thing that you're talking about, they were very good.
We used to go down in the basement with a broom handle, and when Tom's orchestra was starting up, they'd go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and we'd go and they never could get the beat right. They couldn't get the beat right anyway, but we didn't help
Yeah,
it.
we made some old
And then-
Did you
cardboard
really do
records.
that?
They'd
back
chase
then.
us.
You made some records? Did you really?
Cardboard, you know, home spuns.
Wax.
And we didn't think they were very good, and we threw them away, but Crow salvaged all of them.
Good for
And he
you.
sent me some recordings of them just a couple of weeks
No
ago.
kidding.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Why don't you have them cast in iron?
Huh?
Why don't you have them cast in iron?
They're so scratchy now. That, you know, they were just paper to begin with. Little coat of shellac on top or varnish or something. They were.
Jim had you had a band too, Jim.
No, I was with the Hook Luckers band.
You had one for a few weeks with Dick Hugard and.
Yeah, but that was with the
John
Cub
Bunn.
Scouts, and that was really that wasn't much of a deal, Pops. You know, we were in the grade school, and Dick Hilgard didn't.
You know, I
care
thought
about-
that
none of
was
those guys cared
outstanding.
about
I heard
jazz,
you
huh?
guys play at the Douglas School Cubs
Yeah.
thing, and you played the Wabash Blues.
That's
And I
right.
thought, boy, that sounded great.
Well, but it wasn't that good, really. Though.
Well, probably not.
No, but you know,
Who played trumpet in it?
what kind of?
Oh yeah.
Jack Woolman played clarinet.
Yeah.
Bobby Grove played clarinet. Dick Hilgard played piano accordion, and I played drums.
That's about it. Yeah. I can hear old Hook playing that.
You know, Hook was funny. Hook's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
But I can recall at times when he'd say, "I have to go home and practice my trumpet."
Yeah.
and he'd go home and practice.
Well, he was very proficient as
He was.
a kid.
He was excellent, but he wasn't a jazz person, though.
No. But, you know, who was really an outstanding technician was Siegel. My God. Sounded like Herbert Clark.
Donnie Siegel.
Donnie Siegel.
Donnie
His
played
brother wasn't too much of a drummer, but...
Kenny played well. I mean, he played well enough. Again, he wasn't a jazz drummer at all, but he was. We played the band together. And
he always wanted to sit in with my band, and I was warned to not let him. Well, I let him once or twice, but he didn't keep time.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
It's on tape. It's on tape.
Yeah, I wish you guys could sit in one seat. No?
Because
What
then
do
you
you
can
do?
take pictures. Well, it'd be easier to get you all in.
Yeah. We can move those tables over.
Sit here in the light, Jim.
That's okay. You're fine.
Yeah, if it says
fine.
light,
Do you
is
wanna
it
sit in
slightly
the
too
corner?
dark?
Well, if you turn it off for a minute, we can turn this lamp.
Turn it clever. What was your story,
I think you
Jim?
need to tip the light.
My story about what?
It's no good.
What you were going to... I don't know. I thought you were going to say
Can you
something.
pull that light a little bit
From the
closer
standpoint
and
of
tip it if you
From the
can?
standpoint of
a
our
bit.
playing back in Belleville, I remember the first time I heard Buddy Shoulders play was at Doris Holmes' living room.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had she played piano and we had a little band, you know, and when I heard Shoulders, I just about flipped. This is about the same time that I had been asked to go down and sit in with Lecker's band. And so Lecker, I apparently was secure in my job playing for them, and that was acceptable. And so Lecker said to me, "Do you know any trumpet players?" I said, "You bet." I said, "How about Buddy Shoulders?" I said, "How old is he? 14 or something like that?" I said, "Well, that's okay. I had to lie to get into the union, or go down with Daddy or something like that, And so I told Buddy, I said, man, you got to come down to this band and play with them. I said, they'd like to have you come down. And so Buddy came down. And they had, do you remember in the stock arrangements, where in the solo things, they had just whole notes,
Chords.
And so there were 2 or 3 guys down there that tried out. And 1 or 2 of them, they had a bunch of trumpet players down there, all older guys, And when they'd play this goddamn whole note, and that's all they do.
Oh, yeah.
And then Shoulders came on, and he literally just blew it apart. And here he was, just a little high school guy, and oh my God, he played well from the first time that he came in there. And then so Buddy and I, we became good friends, and I'd always get Aunt Arena's car, and I'd drive him home out to Signal Hill, and have to drive all the way back, And as a matter of fact,
It was worth it.
It was worth it. Oh yeah, we were just good friends,
You know Buddy Shoulders' story? He came to dinner one time, or to lunch, I can't remember. And he was like, you raved about him, before he got there, about what a tremendous trumpet player he was. Like he was really, really great. And when he was there, I was sort of starry-eyed looking at him. This guy was so great that I heard Jim talk about. And I asked him about playing the trumpet. And he said, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 7. He said, "Boy," he was 15. He said, "Boy, I wish I'd have started when I was 7. I said, "When did you start?" He says, "I didn't start till I was 12. He says, "Boy, I wish I'd have started when I was your age. Why don't you start right now?" He said, "Why don't you ought to start right now?"
Well, he sure is one of the better trumpet players going today, and
Yeah.
he always has been a top.
I would
top
imagine he's
flight.
by far the outstanding musician
Well.
to ever come out of Belleville.
I think that's true. I don't get
He's
any
playing
musician
trumpet
Buddy Shoulders, yeah.
with Stan Kenton still.
Yeah, well, no. Kenton's dead. The band's broken up. Although Buddy recently received an award for his work by the Baha'i religion, along with Dizzy Gillespie, and a number of other people. And also, we've got a tape in here, someplace around here. We've got a tape Phil Blomquist sent us that has Buddy doing a Kenton reunion thing where he's leading the section or doing whatever. He's got a lot of airtime, and we just haven't had a chance to look at that thing.
Hey, Tom, you remember when you had that guy and his band to dinner one time, a 7-course dinner?
Brubeck.
Dave
Dave
Brubeck.
Brubeck and Paul Desmond.
Did you really for dinner?
And Art.
What happened? What happened?
Not much. Dick McKelly tells the story, which is true, but Sweetie Pie swam into the cauliflower and died. That's
Oh.
the only thing. But he said spaghetti. We didn't have spaghetti. We had.
It was
Sweetie
Wait
Pie.
a minute. It was the parakeet, wasn't it? Your mom's
Yeah.
parakeet?
Listen, I thought of a couple of Geiste stories. The shark.
Yeah.
But
Boy, as I can tell about the damn parakeet, what's that got to do with Dave Brubeck, for God's sake?
he was there that night.
Oh, he was there that night when the.
So 20 years later, McKelvey goes up and says, "Hey, Brubeck, that time you were at Harrison's and the canary flew in the stew or whatever." And he's still telling that story. Sweaty Grove was there, and he told Dick. See?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Johnny Grove. Now at Geiste, when we were little, before we were 10, we were little kids. When he had a little bit of dissension and we didn't want to do what he wanted to do, he'd say, "Well, look, if you're cool, like, I'll take you up my secret city." He said the top of his garage, he said he knew it didn't look like it, but it was a magic city. And that once you got up there, it opened up into spacious bicycle highways and little cars for kids to drive, little gasoline cars, and fountains that had soda pop in them, water fountains with soda pop and free ice cream counters. And he said it's a marvelous city, but if you don't play the game, like I'll never take you up there. You'll be banned. And one time his dad was cleaning out the garage and the porthole was open, and we looked in and there was nothing there but a garage top, So that ruined that for him.
I know a Geiste story. One time Geiste was in the garage, and I had this drawing of a ship, a sailing ship. And down in the keel was a little set of windows. And the idea was that you could go down in there and you could look and you could see and you could shoot torpedoes at other boats and stuff. And I told Geiste this was my invention. Oh boy, he said, "Hey, we got to really take care of this." and he folded it up.
Somebody might steal
He
it.
says somebody might steal it. And we wouldn't want the enemy to get a hold of this. This is too
I thought he
good.
tore it up so nobody could get a hold of it.
No, we had to hide it somewhere.
True.
And I don't know where the hell we hid it, but we never could find it. It's an important invention, he said.
When we were very small, there was a clock pendulum down in the basement. Evidently off a Sessions clock. It had an S on it, and Dick said that was a very special metal.
Who did?
Geiste said it was a very special metal for it was S, Skippy Skinner Secret Society. Skippy Skinner was a radio program for kids at that time. He also told me that the little dwarf in lawn decoration in Boykel's lawn was alive. He did. And we'd sit there for hours. He'd say, "Really?" He'd say, "You see it move a little?" After a couple of hours, it's staring. He said, "Don't look away because you'll miss it." Every time you look away, he moved. And I swear to God, after a couple of hours, you could see that dwarf go clear around the tree almost. He was one in a million.
He was really a very nice guy. And you're right. I think he would have been a real wonderful TV writer
What
or
a
something like
creative
that.
mind.
He had a wonderfully creative mind. He really did.
Could he have been an actor? He could have been
Well,
an actor too.
He wrote it. He had to put the dialogue down, the situation. Another thing he did one time, I didn't even know why. I was probably in kindergarten or first grade. Velma and I, and Geiste was probably in the second or third grade. And he decided we should take our clothes off up in the closet in my room.
Yet again.
And I didn't know why. I
And
didn't.
Velma too?
Huh?
And Velma?
Velma wouldn't do it. I didn't know why. I thought she'd been a poor sport. I had no idea why she wouldn't do it. And the guy says, "Oh, come on. Look, me and Tom are doing it. Take your clothes off." Nope. And just then, Della came up. She heard it get real quiet. So we went in the closet. I don't know why there was nobody around up there, but she came to the closet door and picked it open. And she didn't raise hell either, you know, about that kind of thing. She just said,
When you're only 3,
Huh?
or 5, or 7, could have been too old.
I know, but when people do things that are so mysterious and secret, you think there must be something.
Remember when Della called Jim
evil.
Brassmouth?
Huh?
Remember when Della called Jim Brassmouth?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jim had braces on.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You miffed off to her or something, and she called you Brassmouth.
I was never disrespectful.
Hey, do you guys remember a long time ago?
Jim and Geiste.
Remember the
tracked
sticker
through her
bushes in
kitchen
the
with
front?
mud. She just got through mopping the kitchen.
You remember the sticker bushes in the front of the house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we used to take matchsticks and build little bridges
Yeah.
in there.
I remember
You
that.
remember that?
Yeah.
That's one of the earliest things I remember.
Huh.
Except being having my tonsils taken out. Dad promising me all the ice cream I could eat.
You were a pro sport. You wouldn't even eat any.
I couldn't swallow.
What did I miss? What did you do with the little matchsticks?
We built little bridges and stuff.
Hey Helen, let's hear some stories from you. Let's hear about some of the things
Yeah.
you remember.
Yeah.
Get
Get
over
over
there
there.
with the guys and let's hear some
Well,
Helen
I
stories.
can't
Sit
think
here,
of any
Helen.
now.
Here, wait.
No, stay there.
No,
I can't.
All
That's
of you
okay.
can sit there.
Oh.
That couch is made for 4.
I know,
Jim's
but
got to move one
I-
way or the other.
I don't like to hug movies, and I'm
There you go.
here. If I,
Well, I can't really think. I thought of some before, and they were all talking, and I couldn't. I've been sitting here racking my brain. They've all left me. But
Remember when I
Did
put
they
on
tease you
the
as
hat
the
and coat and
youngest?
I scared you? Remember when I scared you, frightened you? You always remember that story. You remember all those dumb stories.
oh, I remembered a good story. Since Bub told the one about throwing a knife at someone, one time
Oh,
he
yeah.
was teasing
Scissors.
George Rose and me. He was teasing my friend. Well, of course, she loved it. All my friends loved it when Bub teased them or his friends teased them. So anyway, I said, quit. Get out of here. We were in the living room first, and he wouldn't do it. So I had my choice. I had an ink bottle to throw or a big heavy kitchen scissors. And Daddy had just painted the living room, newly painted. I didn't dare throw the ink bottle. I threw the scissors, and you know, he flinched like this, and it hit him in the thigh.
And hit right under here.
And
Like the
Had a
lion
big
tamer,
hole.
you
It
still
had
have
a
the
big
scar?
Bob, you could have been killed.
I know that. I know that.
Dr. Bechtold came out, put stitches in, and I
Shots.
don't think I really got spanked. I think everyone just ignored me, and that was worse. I mean, a spanking would have been. And
Yeah,
then
you're
Bub wouldn't let me see his scar. You know, he wouldn't let me see his stitches, and it was awful. And yet, it really just another example of it not really being my fault.
Taught you a lesson. What do you mean, not your fault?
You shouldn't have been teasing.
That could have hit me in the heart,
Well,
and then you'd have really been sorry.
Oh,
you remember
then
we
I
used to
would have
make,
been-
bombs
I would have
with
been
your bow and arrow,
Yeah.
and
Shoot them up in the air?
yeah,
Oh, jeez.
well, you were pretty creative on
You
those
remember
things,
Buck
right?
Bashir's?
Yeah.
And the time that Kenny Schmidt came over and he didn't have a bow and arrow. Remember Kenny Schmidt lived down around, and we were all making, Geiste was making rock bombs with mud balls, and Kenny Schmidt filled a coffee can with dust and called it his turtle bomb. Remember that?
I remember the
Oh, it
turtle
was
bomb.
a turtle bomb.
Yeah,
And-
What did he do? Fill dust with the what? Into
a
the
coffee can and threw it up in the air and it came down
Yeah,
and dust
just-
all over the place.
Just throw dirt over everybody.
Uh,
Turtle bomb.
Yeah,
Turtle bomb.
turtle bomb.
And he'd always shout, "Turtle bomb!" Oh, you remember the 4th of July, as that was called.
Oh, sure, we had good ones.
Dad would save his firecrackers till the last. We'd all be out of them.
I still have the firecracker cannons and the cherry bomb cannon.
Yeah.
That cherry bomb cannon still works, I'll tell you. That thing, the cherry bomb cannon is, I ought to go down and get it in the basement and bring it up here. But it's on a little wooden frame.
It's like a mortar.
It's like a mortar. And it's drilled out on top, the top half of this big piece of metal with 2 little rods that come out like that, so you can change the angle of traversing it. And of course, Tom used to use it to bomb the Beta House.
I could zero it in the dorm window in 2 shots.
Really?
I was good with mortars. Yeah.
But any,
What
you do?
What'd you shoot it with, a zebra?
No.
Black powder.
With black powder. You see, I ought to go down and get that thing, just because one picture's worth 1,000 words. I just don't feel like.
Why don't we shoot that off on New Year's Eve?
Well, I suppose we could, Pops. Let me finish what the hell it is, though. It's about this big.
Where
about
is
that-
it, Jim? Where is it? I'll go down and try to get it.
Oh, it's downstairs, someplace either up on top or the workbench, or down underneath. It just isn't worth looking for,
The firecracker cannon was great too.
The firecracker cannon's down there too.
Does it
Great.
look like a gun?
What? The firecracker cannon looks like part of a Civil War rifle, maybe like that thing there. And
Well, I'll go look. I'm not sure what I'm looking
Yeah,
for, but I'll
okay.
go look.
Don't do that, Jan.
Oh,
That's okay.
Janet.
We've all seen it.
If you
We've
don't
all
find
seen
it,
it.
Quick look.
if you don't find it, bring me up a beer. How's that? Anyhow, you put black powder in this thing, and then take a cherry bomb and turn it down into this little cell of black powder, which is only no bigger than this, about that much of it that goes down into the metal. Then there was a fuse hole that went down into there from up on top, and you take a firecracker, half a firecracker, you break it off, put it into the fuse hole, you light this damn thing, it goes down in there, the black powder goes off, ignites the cherry bomb. This thing goes up about 500,000 feet in the air. And so Tom,
Out of sight,
I'll tell you something, that must have pissed those guys when you put a couple of them in the,
Yeah.
didn't they come out screaming,
Yeah.
the Betas, huh?
I
We just laughed at them.
What?
We just laughed at them.
I worked at a 4th of July stand when I was in the fraternity.
There it is.
There you go.
And I had,
I'm not sure about the other one.
Okay,
I'll
that's
look.
that's okay.
That's the
See here,
cherry bomb.
See here, the cherry bomb. There's a little
Isn't that
fuse
neat?
hole,
It is.
and it drilled out down to there. But then there's another thing that goes on down to here. So you fill that bottom part with black powder.
Yeah.
The fuse goes in here. I want to tell you that mother really works. That
I
really
guess.
works.
It looks like the things they start those yacht races off with, or finish them up with, or whatever.
No, we just use shotguns. Well, sometimes they have cannons.
Who's got that big brass cannon? Bub, do you have that?
I think Stanley has that.
I have big brass
Or
can.
do you? I don't know about.
I don't know about a brass can. I got that. I have a big cannon.
Yeah.
I
I think
have
that's
a little bucket.
That's
a little-
brass, I believe.
It's
Solid brass. Is it about the barrel about that long?
No, that's the one that was down in Florida, wasn't it, Pops? We
Well,
gave that to Stanley.
It was shipped. No,
I've got
that
one where
was
the barrel's about this
replica.
long. About this long.
Does it weigh about 60 pounds, 70 pounds?
It's got wheels.
Yeah. Well, they all had that. Anyway, Dad used to really pack things when he'd ship them. And he worked all day and he made a big crate. And I didn't realize this, but before he went to bed, he pulled the crate from the fireplace over to my pathway where I used to walk to the kitchen in the middle of the night. And I didn't turn the light on because I didn't want to wake him up. And I found my way into the kitchen all right. But then coming back, I knew the path and everything, so I didn't slow down. I had it memorized in my head, but I didn't realize that cannon was there. And I came walking through like this, and I hit that crate, and I went flying over the coffee, clear over the coffee table. my feet kicked that over, and I sprawled out on the floor and made a terrible crash. Stunned, yeah, I woke him up.
Did he shoot you?
No, he was worried that I was hurt. I mean, that
Your
whole
lights
house
off?
rumbled.
Lights off?
The red light's on.
What is? Okay, I just can't see.
It's out.
Is there,
It's out.
is there still stuff in the camera?
It's still
It's
going.
moving. Yeah.
It should be because that was the beginning.
Incidentally, the Duke wants a full report when I get home. What should I tell him?
I'll just tell it like it is.
Okay,
I'll call him one of these days.
good.
You know, Jimmy, did you know when you remember when you practiced your drums and everything, you chewed bubble gum?
Yeah.
And you chewed the clearest bubble gum that was very hard to get.
Making a run
And I used to steal your bubble gum.
That's-
Not a lot, not for all my friends. I
got
just
blue laws?
a couple of pieces here and there.
What are those, Sunday?
I think it's time to go to bed.
I don't know if they're doing that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
No.
I think we all have to. We all got to travel and all that, and I got to look.
Yeah.
Is that sickle sharp in the garage? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know, Pops. But if it isn't, there's
A file downstairs?
there's a grinder downstairs.